But our latest obamessiah update starts with another one from allgov.com. And again, this breaks down the phony left-right paradigm that is so imperative, especially as we're now hurtling towards 2012 and all that that entails, but specifically here talking about our selections. Obama administration worse on whistleblowers than previous puppet administration. That's my headline. The Obama administration is being accused of getting away with crackdowns on government whistleblowers that President Bush would have been publicly admonished for. ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, has allegedly gone after an ICE agent who told the media in March about new quotas for immigration arrests. We have the flashback link for you there. That, of course, ties in with other police departments finally admitting what's long been that urban legend of police quotas. It is real. In another example, the DoD is restricting media access to military officers following McChrystal's comments to Rolling Stone, and the Pentagon has gone after an Army intel officer who leaked a controversial video of collateral murder. We've covered all these stories for you on Media Monarchy and Cyberspace War. Some of these prosecutions wouldn't have happened when Bush was president because there would have been a more partisan backlash. Stephen Cohn, executive director of the National Whistleblowers Center, whistleblowers.org, telling the Washington Post, the problem when you have a Democratic president, it's not like Obama is signing the indictments, but it mutes the criticism. And that's what we've discussed here time and time again, is that when we have a fake progressive Democrat figurehead, it's most effective to attack them from that weak flank. Attack them from the left. That's why it does no good to have all the right-wing reactionaries who didn't say a damn thing while all these things were already going on under Bush. They can now only somehow magically see it now that it's the guy with the D after his name that they don't like. They know that's that other team we don't like, because we love sports in the Coliseum here. That's why this is all key to break down the fake left-right paradigm. Now, someone who's quite skilled at attacking the obamessiah from the left is Webster Tarpley, tarpley.net. We are going to hear from him later on the coming climate control, but that's a little bit later. He's got a massive new article simply titled, Obama is Preparing to Bomb Iran. It is page after page after page. It is heavily sourced and footnoted, and it's the type of article that will ultimately probably get put together in whatever will be the latest book from tarpley.net. He's, of course, the one who published George Bush, the unauthorized biography, Poppy Bush. So again, see, folks, depending on which team, are more likely to listen to this information when it's about a guy they didn't like and suspected the worst of. But when it's about a guy they like and want to hope for the best of, they don't want to hear it. But here it all is. One of the main string pullers behind the mysterious Barry Soetoro, the obamessiah, is a guy named Zbigniew Brzezinski. You should, of course, know him. He was Jimmy Carter's national security director. And he writes books with names like The Grand Chessboard and talks about Western geoprimacy and lays it all out. And he's connected to Operation Cyclone, which was, of course, funding the Mujahideen to draw in the Soviets, to give the Soviets their Vietnam. We then created the Mujahideen, which turned into Al-Qaeda, which translates to the base, which means the database of Mujahideen fighters that are on the Central Intelligence Agency and other black op, shadowy, front, shell, cutout forms. That's how it works. You watch movies about it all the time, but somehow you don't think it really happens in real life, that art doesn't imitate life, imitates politics, imitates life. We've got another clip, you know, I guess added to his greatest hits list that we'll have to compile one of these days. Brzezinski talking on one of the Talking Head shows. Again, the link is here, thanks to blacklistednews.com. I'm not sure which Talking Head show it is on the corporate-controlled media. But this is This is important, and again, this is why we watch the memes. This is why we watch the words and the signs and listen to the things that they say. Don't take that for gospel. We watch what they do. But again, when folks like Brzezinski talk, we need to listen and decipher. We're going to break this down after the clip, but Brzezinski senses a malaise with Obama.
And there was one other. All of them were bad news for the Democratic Party. I mean, if you talk about any of them, none of them was really positive. Politically, I mean, you were in a Democratic administration, had some troubles. What would you say their message ought to be?
No, I think it goes even further than that. And I can't really articulate this well, but I have a sense that over the last several decades, there were always mobilizing issues that were uppermost in the public mind. They were either domestic, such as, for example, as there was occasional recessions and the most severe financial crisis, or international, the threat of war, some collision, or military engagement, or even 9/11. I think we're now going through a phase in which there is a sense of pervasive malaise which affects different groups in society in different ways. So people are dissatisfied, they're slightly worried, they don't see a good certain future for themselves or for the country, but in their own narrow sphere. There is no grand mobilizing idea, and I have a sense that Obama, who started so well and who really captivated people, he captivated me, has not been able yet to generate some sort of organizing idea for an age which combines a malaise that's pervasive and percolating and complexity, which is hard to understand.
And he's being buffeted by, I think, the mobilizing force of the war over the role of government.
Yes, exactly. But it's one of several issues.
Yeah.
What about foreign policy? Who are we really fighting against? Why are we making all these sacrifices? Why are we spending all this money? Why are other well-doing societies not sticking their noses into these wars? Maybe they know something.
Yeah.
So all of that, I think, contributes to a feeling of uneasiness. And then you get people like Gingrich or Palin or Romney coming along. Each one mobilizes a slice of all of these concerns. So Palin, if I may say so, in a rather nutty fashion. Romney kind of repeating slogans from recent past. Gingrich trying to sort of revive himself with his past slogans. None of them have a comprehensive idea, but they have enough, each of them, to stitch together a different part of 46%.
We need a new paradigm.
Yes, we
And the president hasn't articulated it.
Order out of chaos. We need a new paradigm. You just heard Pat Buchanan say it right there. And you heard one of the talking heads when Brzezinski said malaise. You heard her murmur in recognition. Because again, as we note, sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week, let alone last decade or beyond. Malaise is a well-known term in geopolitical, or perhaps just domestic political circles. So let's hop over to Wikipedia for the presidency of Jimmy Carter and hit the subheading on the malaise speech. Malaise, of course, being the French word for sickness, illness. M-A-L-A-I-S-E. When the energy market exploded, an occurrence Carter tried to avoid during his term, he was planning on delivering his fifth major speech on energy. However, he felt the American people were no longer listening. Carter left for the presidential retreat of Camp David. For more than a week, a veil of secrecy enveloped the proceedings. Dozens of prominent Democratic Party leaders, members of Congress, governors, labor leaders, academics, and clergy were summoned to the mountaintop retreat to confer with the beleaguered president. His pollster, Pat Cadell, told him that the American people simply faced a crisis of confidence because of the assassinations of JFK, RFK, MLK, Vietnam, Watergate. So, on July 15th, 1979, Jimmy Carter gave a nationally televised speech in which he identified what he believed to be a, quote, crisis of confidence. Among the American people, this came to be known as his malaise speech, although the word never appeared in it. The speech was actually written by Hendrik Hertzberg and Gordon Stewart. Don't have time to get into their connections and backgrounds here, but you should. So those are the words and the memes that we track. So when we see and track the signs and symbols and sigils and themes and memes, we've got to put it on the record. What did we say? Trying to record it as quickly as possible and do the analysis.